All right.
We
So,
got a Halloween podcast today.
oh,
You
how?
are you
Yeah,
what are you dressed up as right now, Brian?
I am dressed up as a really lazy fantasy football analyst.
Yeah, that's very fitting.
Um, one especially that, yeah, we, what were we talking about? We missed out, this last week, and Sean was doing a little bit of traveling, and we were just talking about our how we were kind of curious about the pick'ems. Do you want to look back at that maybe and
Yeah,
see like maybe just quickly look back at week 7 and see how right or maybe wrong
yeah,
we were.
yeah. So I've
Uh,
got if you want to pull up the actual scoreboard, I've got our pick'ems in front of me here. I'm pulling up our scoreboard too. So yeah,
I've got
let's
the scoreboard.
all right,
Yeah.
sweet. Let's run through. So let's start with John Glasgow and Nick
Okay.
were playing. I don't know if everybody can think about it really hard. What were you doing 2 weeks ago? Where were you on that football Sunday? I was actually with Nick and Joey over at Joey's house. We were watching Red Zone and eating pancakes, so it was a really good time over there. And this matchup, we actually split our votes on it. Also Joey was on the podcast when we were talking about this too, so we can throw his in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Joey's picks were too.
Yeah,
See, this is why the picks are fun. We can see how close or not close we were.
yeah. So
Uh,
this one was interesting. I picked Nick, and so did Joey.
and
When
I
it,
was wrong. I was
yeah, and
wrong
you
because I
picked
was picking
Glasgow.
John to go undefeated, and he
Yep.
let me down.
Thank God.
What? And you know what you did? You know what you did, you son of a bitch? You gave me a chance at first place. I was smelling it
Ooh.
this week. I was looking at the points forward, like in me and you. I was 1 point out of first place. One fucking point. We had the same record, and I was 1 point out of first place.
That's a
So,
big 1 point. Well, I mean, as we get closer, it's points forward are definitely gonna matter a lot more when people have the same records. That's gonna
yeah,
come into play.
absolutely. So, John, you let me down. I bet on you. I even said from the beginning, like, oh man, if John goes 4-0, without Tom Brady, he could, go undefeated.
Yep.
And I was wrong, and you let me
Very
down.
wrong. Very wrong. Yeah.
So
Do
I
not
don't.
do not bank on John Glasgow, I think is the lesson that we learned there.
Yep, I think so. All right, so
All right.
you guys win
We'll
win
win
that
that
one.
one. So then let's move. You played Misha that week, and it was a three-way tie. We all picked you to win, and you won. I would say pretty commandingly. You won by almost 15, 20 points, something like that. So yeah, not too close.
It was close for a little while, but I think the fact that Jamal didn't do anything. Jamal had a goose. Terrence West had like 1 point, but just looking at it, I think yeah, LeGarrette Blount did. That was his Pittsburgh game, and so
Yeah,
anybody who had LeGarrette,
he was your high scorer for the week, and
yes,
yeah, he's been pretty
I,
fucking
I do
money.
remember sneaking him in last minute and feeling very, very high and mighty for doing that. But okay, so all of us were
We all
at
picked correctly there. And then
okay.
moving on, I played Derek that week, and this was
Hmm.
a matchup. I'll just go into very briefly, but yeah, I thought I was dead in the water very quickly. I was down significantly, like even coming into most of the Sunday games, and ended up making it very close, but I still lost
Was
by
it Drew?
four and
Was
a
it
half
Drew?
points. Yeah,
Did Drew
Drew
Brees play in
Brees.
the morning or the
He
afternoon?
played. It was either morning or midday, but there was the Thursday game that had implications, and then the super early London game that had implications
Hmm.
too. And I had like 3 or 4 people that got like only a couple points each. So I was like, "There's no fucking way I can win this." And then I also, at the last second, put Matt Forte on my bench, and he ended up having
Oh,
22. So I would have won if I had just played him. But
you know
that's the
what?
way
Yeah,
it works.
and can I just point this out? Not to be a dick, but it kind of is a dickish thing to say, and it's like you set him up, and I want to knock him down. You did put in, or somebody said, I don't know if it was Joey or who it was in the text messages, said that if you had put Matt Forte. You should have stuck with Matt Forte, and I think it was still while the game was going on.
Yeah,
and he had like 14 or 15 points, and you're like, and you thought like you were in your kind of like, it wouldn't have made a difference at this point in time.
Yeah, things were really bad at that point. But yeah, then come later on, like shit, I actually had a chance to win this one. That's very surprising.
Almost 30 points from one player on the bench. Okay, we're not supposed to go into details.
Not dwell on that, but the real important thing is that all of us voted for me to win, which has been a pretty common theme this season, and it's not working out for anyone.
Jeez,
so all of us got that wrong. Yes, sweep it the wrong way.
Dude, anytime we sweep it, man, people get really upset. But okay, well, wait a minute.
Speaking of sweeping, we also had Joey played Phil, and Phil's team decided to go off, and we both picked Joey for that one.
Oh, whoops! Hold on, I accidentally went back to week 8. Okay, so let's see.
Fired.
What happened that game? We're not supposed to fucking be looking at these games, but now I'm kind of curious.
Just to look, I mean, Melvin Gordon had 3. I remember he had 3 touchdowns and a lot of yards.
Oh, that was Melvin. Yeah, that was the Atlanta game. Yeah. Dude, Melvin Gordon. Wow, Melvin Gordon. Just like completely insignificant fantasy player last year. And people, kind of. Yeah, bid on him like really high.
He didn't score any touchdowns last year.
Not a single touchdown.
And he has a lot of touchdowns. He has like 7 or 8, or maybe even more than that touchdowns far this year.
I think he may have more.
Yeah.
I don't think he hasn't scored in a game this season.
Yeah, he's been the model of consistency.
Yeah, amazing. This is one of the better. I mean, shit. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna be able to. Who knows? The Chargers are fucking crazy. They might be able to put good fantasy numbers together, but as far as a real team, it's a tough one. Yeah. But let's not get into that. So the
only other matchup, looking back on it, Jimmy and Chris, and this is so far the closest matchup that we've had the entire season.
Oh man,
I don't remember it coming down to just half a point.
It did.
Oh, there was no stat corrections. I knew it was close. No. I didn't think it was half a point, but
dude, I can't remember.
Jesus Christ.
I can't remember what it was, but it was like something about either like I can't. I wish it would show the dates for these games so I could figure out what it was. But I think it was either that Jimmy still had somebody going like the very end, and he had to hold, and Chris just had to hold out. Or if that Chris also had somebody go. Oh, was it C.J. Anderson? God damn it! Who played the Monday game?
Yeah, I can't 2 weeks ago. Honestly, cannot remember.
No, all right, it doesn't.
This is why we shouldn't be reviewing all the matchups from 2 weeks ago.
I know. We were just supposed
to. The fact of the matter is, I picked Chris. I picked the last place guy to really pick it up, and he just barely eked it out. But I mean, both of them had really good weeks, so. Man, what a fucking close matchup there. But you and Joey picked Jimmy on that one, and boy, fucking were you guys wrong. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, barely. By 0.5 we were wrong. Well, you know what? That's the thing. Every time I vote against Jimmy, he decides to go crazy. If I'm rooting for Jimmy, he barely loses, I guess. So Jimmy, I guess you don't want me to vote for you or anybody to vote for you. You want the odds stacked against you, and so that's when you can whip out the Roethlisberger dick if he comes back and plays. Is he even gonna ever come back and play this year? Or is he done?
No, I think he will. I haven't looked at his updates recently, but I didn't think it was supposed to be out until the end of the year. It was 2 to 4 weeks or something like that. And he's one of those guys that will play when he's not even close to 100% and somehow do really well still.
It's dude, just that body. It's like if somebody wanted to make
that body.
That body. Oh, that Roethlisberger body.
God, that burger body.
Oh my God, let me tell you. But no, seriously, if you wanted to design Frankenstein, talk about Halloween, dude, that is the fuckery that you would use. Some fucking 6 foot whatever he is. What, 6'8"?
I don't know, actually. It's a good question.
Not 8. 6. He must be 6.
Is he 7'7"?
7'7". Is he 10 foot?
If Yao Ming was a quarterback.
Oh, could you imagine Yao Ming as a quarterback?
That would be fucking hilarious. I just want to see Yao Ming in full football pads and gear.
Dude, that would be like a football. You'd see a football team, and then you look at a giraffe come out with a helmet.
Dude,
Like,
just a
that
fucking walking pile of giant branches.
dude, that guy is so fucking big, and he's got the longest limbs ever. Man, the biggest feet anybody's ever seen.
I thought you were gonna say something different both those times, but that's where my mind goes. So, man, maybe we should keep talking about football. Well, yeah. Moving on to this week, week 8 is a pretty crazy week. I think a lot of people had to do some serious roster finagling. There were 6 teams on buys, so a lot of waiver pickups and free agents that had to come into play, and a lot of injuries and things like that happened. So I think it'll be nice to kind of go through these matchups individually and kind of see what the hell happened. And I mean, I'm thinking a good place to start would be Jimmy's team. I mean, Mr. 177.5. I think we got to talk about that. That is fucking outrageous scoring.
Well, this is, I can't remember. I'm sure it's happened before, but just not to this degree. I can't remember any other time where I've looked at somebody's lineup and every single fucking position is in double digits. Like, high fucking double digits.
Yeah, mostly high double digits, and
he
some in the 20s and even one guy at 30.
Yeah, let's see. 30, yeah, exactly. Okay, so he's got 1, 2, 3 people that are anywhere between 10 and 12. So that's just 3. So that's 3 people anywhere from 10 and 12.
And if those are your lowest scoring
the lowest
people,
your scores, yeah, those are your lowest scorers. And then let's see, we have a 19.5, a 20, a 17.5, a 30, a 21.5, a 17, a 19. Like, holy fuck, dude, you're not losing. I don't care who you go up against. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers throws up fucking however many touchdowns. What was it?
What do you throw? 4 or 5
touchdowns? 4 touchdowns. I don't care if he throws 4 touchdowns and get 41 points. I don't care if Theo Riddick has like a really good game, which I don't see how he did. What he did, one in the air, but he had 8 receptions and 77 yards. Yeah, dude, that was a domination. I mean,
and all that, he played Alex Smith as his quarterback. Smartly above Russell Wilson, and can't play Big Ben. And he went out with a concussion, only got 11. So definitely could have been in the 180s had he played the entire game. So, my God, monster week. Amari, I mean, Amari's been pretty solid for most of this year, a couple down weeks, but this was like that massive breakout game. 12 receptions, 173, and a touchdown. Derek Carr was just slinging it around, and
Derek Carr had a huge game.
Yeah, we'll get to Derek Carr. That definitely has some implications, but for Jimmy also, his team's starting to kind of get back to what he wants it to be. He's got Tyler Eifert finally back in his lineup, and monster game there. Dez Bryant back, throws up 20. That might have been Dez's? Yeah, that was Dez's biggest game of the year so far. So,
yeah, he did. Before he got hurt, he actually had some pretty decent games. He had a 14.5 and an 11.5. I don't know.
I think things are clicking for Jimmy right now. He put up almost 140 last week. So he's definitely, I would say, a team to watch out for as this hot streak continues, because his team is definitely clicking, and you look up and down his lineup, and he's got some good players right now on his team.
Yeah, I think so. My phone just vibrated. I think something bad happened.
What does that mean?
I saw a text from Chris that just said no.
Oh, I think yeah, so this we're recording this during the Monday night game, by the way. And I think Alshon just got a nice 30-yard catch or something. And out of all the matchups that are happening right now, Chris and John have the only legitimate implications at this point. And it's very close, but Chris is hanging on right now with 1.5 above John, but John's got 2 people playing right now, so I don't think that's going to work out in Chris's favor at this point when there's 2 quarters left.
2 quarters left. I mean, Chris, this is going to be tough. This is going to be very, very tough. So
yeah, it's like,
we might. Well, what happens is we'll come back to this later because we might actually end up seeing in a few minutes if Jimmy breaks the bank, then the game is over because Chris doesn't have anybody else to play or sorry, not Jimmy, John.
Yeah.
Fuck am I saying, Jimmy? I'm just still so fixated on that fucking all-star roster.
Fixated on that Roethlisberger body.
I think it just happened. I think John just tied.
Maybe I'm a little behind on because I'm watching the game right now and I haven't seen that yet, but we will see.
Oh, it's too bad. Sorry, Chris. I think it doesn't look good. It doesn't look like you're gonna be winning this one. But that's all right. These things happen. What's another good matchup to go over?
Well, we'll talk about Phil's team very briefly. It wasn't the strongest outing for him. I would say his high point, 2 high points, like we said, Aaron Rodgers, monster game. Theo Riddick, nice game back, but man, Mark Ingram put up negative points. That is not going to help you.
You just said Phil's team.
Oh shit! I thought that was Phil's team. Yeah, Derek's team.
Look at us. Look at us talk about the professional fucking podcast and how fucking awesome we are and jerk ourselves off and we don't even know what teams we're talking about.
Yeah, seriously. Oh god, what kind of shoddy production is this?
All right, how much pumpkin juice are we allowed? I think we need some more.
Jesus Christ. So anyway, Derek's team, yeah, not quite a strong performance there. But has the potential to bounce back. So yeah, we can move on. That was quite the shellacking on that one. And yeah, the update right now, Glasgow is tied with Chris. And again, 2 people in play. So Chris, I'm sorry, but you're fucking done.
You're cooked.
You're done.
You're cooked, man. Well,
so another at the second highest matchup. We can actually move to Phil's matchup. Yes, I am talking about Phil for real this time.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
Yeah, Nick.
And he played
Nick and Phil.
Oh.
Nick, Nick just had one of those weeks where almost nobody came out to play. Looking like he's probably not gonna even get that close to breaking 100 this week.
Well, he had quite a few people on bye. He had Odell on bye, Jarvis Landry on bye, and his most important player, the person where if he doesn't have this guy playing, Nick just doesn't do well. That's his man, Justin Tucker. #1 Instagram follow for Nick, if he was still on social media.
Man crush Monday for Nick right there. But yeah, nobody really came out to play for Nick's team. Yeah, we'll see. Obviously, his team's going to look a lot different next week. But he's got some interesting plays. Devontae Booker put up a nice one. Gillislee, the backup running back for Buffalo, had a decent game too. But we'll see. Things are going to look different, but Phil put up a nice fucking week right there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, almost had the same performance as Jimmy, save for 3 positions.
Yeah, just Doug Baldwin, not too great. His defense didn't do very well. I mean, Jesus, I don't know why you're playing a defense going against New England.
Well, maybe he didn't have any other choice. I don't know who else Phil's defense has been in the past.
I don't know. He wants to hang on to Bill's defense, apparently. It didn't work, but he didn't really need it to work. But, man, yeah, Kirk Cousins, really formidable quarterback week in, week out, mostly. So definitely someone you can keep playing no matter who the matchup is. And Devontae putting up another great one. Melvin Gordon, as we were talking about before, just doing his thing. Terrell Pryor just keeps on doing it. Man, what a...
Yeah,
who would have predicted that coming into the season?
No. Jordan Reed had a really nice game. And Carson Palmer actually had a decent game on his bench, too.
Yeah.
Man, 28 points.
He still played the right pick and picked a Kirky boy. So.
Yep. Well,
And I hear your phone buzzing, and Alshon
yep.
Jeffrey just got the touchdown.
Oh,
So the fucking
there it
rich get
is.
richer,
There.
and I guess we could move to that matchup.
Well, it's over now, so we might as well just go and talk about it. Sorry, Chris, buddy. I'm sorry, man. Nobody likes to be solely in last place, but it looks like you
Yeah,
own that
he
fucking
is going to
crown.
be owning last place. That said, I still don't think being 2-6, I don't think that's any sort of being out of the playoff runnings.
Well,
I mean,
I mean, we're gonna have to,
we'll
yeah,
talk,
we're
we'll
gonna have to
talk
talk
about the
about the
standings.
standings at the end.
Now we kind of know what it'll look like, since everything's kind of mostly finalized for this week.
I think
so.
no, I think it is now. That was the only one I thought that was still in question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Misha's got Stefan Diggs, who, if he scores like 3 touchdowns, he could beat me. And I mean, I don't think that would happen, but
Who's got the ball right? Who's got the ball right now? Well, you said
it's
Alshon
about
Jeffrey
to be
just
Minnesota,
got that.
so
Okay.
yeah, it'll basically Misha needs a miracle. He needs like 30 something points within the next quarter and a half.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, we keep jumping around. I guess that's what happens though when you're doing a podcast, as there's a live game going on.
Yeah, dude. This is yeah.
Did Chris text you a text of just fucking crying emojis?
I think it was a fucking knife emoji that he's gonna come out and kill us all.
Chris, don't do it. Chris, don't do it.
Chris, you are a sane man. You have a wife. You have a cat, 2 cats. Don't get crazy. Don't kill us all. If you're gonna beat us, you need to beat us on the field.
Is that what Chris's headstone would say? He had a wife and 2 cats, and that's all it would say.
I don't know. What does it say on your headstone usually?
I don't know. Like what? I don't know what it is. I just thought it was funny when you're like, you've got so much to live for. You've got a wife and 2 cats.
Well, I thought people usually say you got a wife and 2 kids, but
yeah,
just like, you got a wife and 2 cats.
Yeah, you got a lot of pussy.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay, let's
talk about Chris's matchup. This was one of the lower scoring matchups out there. A lot of just up and downs of a couple good individual performances, but overall the teams just couldn't really get it together. Tom Brady is just on a rampage since he's been back, put up a monster 37, and that is by far and away Glasgow's top performer. He definitely wouldn't have won without Tom Brady going huge.
So Tom Brady, since he has come back, has only scored once below 30 points.
Yeah, all 30s and 121. Like, I mean, you definitely made a good point that Glasgow could have gone undefeated with having Brady as his quarterback. I mean, those are the types of points that Brady is putting up. He's going to win you weeks as long as the rest of your team doesn't just shit the bed.
Yep. Dude, this is a tough one. My phone just keeps moving. What is going on with you guys right now? We're trying to do a fucking podcast, and there's this fucking salt storm on the fucking text message thing. Joey and Chris, you guys are classic. That's what you are. Okay, so yeah.
What is Joey's text? What is this? Could be worse. That is like honestly. That is probably one of the worst things that I could read.
That was. I did not see that part.
It's in our team group message, and Chris is obviously struggling very hard. He knows he's going to be dead solo in last place. Just found out that that's going to happen, and Joey, Mr. 4-time championships, is telling him it could be worse. That might anger me a little bit if I was in Chris's spot.
Well, technically, CJ Anderson now just went down. So, how many of his top picks have gone down? He's lost Adrian Peterson. He's lost CJ Anderson. He lost Sammy Watkins. Who else did he lose? Well, I mean, there's his. That's and his other top four pick was Le'Veon Bell, and that's all he's got left. So
Yeah.
he really is like
Chris
Le'Veon a
had,
prayer.
yeah, he got the fucking witch's curse somehow, and that injury bug just continues to plague him. So if he can find a way to get on a little winning streak and crawl his way to the playoffs, would have to give him props for that. But having a tough go of it right now.
You know what I think you should do? I think you should give me Le'Veon Bell, and um, and just get rid of those top four picks altogether, or give somebody else Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, give
Maybe
somebody. Yeah, maybe me. Yeah, how about me?
I don't know. It sounds better on my team. I think
We can split him. I'll take him on the weekends. You can have him on the weekdays.
All right, that sounds like a fair thing to do. But the trade deadline is coming up soon, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, we do have a trade deadline in our league, which, I mean, for everybody else except for me is basically meaningless because I seem to be the only person that's involved in every trade that's happened so far. I don't know what the fuck the rest of you guys are doing.
Nobody approaches me ever about trades. The only time I ever hear about trades is from Joey. And
Yeah.
well, Joey, I don't know. I feel Joey picks up a lot of. Has anybody noticed Joey picks up a lot of people, like a lot of people off of the waivers?
Yeah, and then tries to use them in trade packages. Like, dude, I don't want your fucking waiver wire pickups for my first round draft pick. I'm sorry.
I mean, I would argue that some of these waiver wire pickups end up paying out pretty big.
True,
but
very true.
but at the same time, that is a gamble, and I think some people are very tight with their team when it comes to, oh, I drafted this guy, I targeted him, I want to keep him. Okay, so for instance, for me, I did not target Ezekiel Elliott. I was looking at our draft as it was going along, and it was just like, motherfucker. Well, I guess I've got to, just because the experts say he's going to be legit, and fuck. I was really upset. That's why I named my team the overall team just looked like a whole bunch of nobodies. But Ezekiel turned out to be a surprise. And if somebody came to me with an offer, I would be like, no way. I'm too tight with my lineup. Even if I didn't target the guy. If he turns out to be a player, most of the time people want to hold on to him. I don't know. I think people don't like patching up their team. Like, for instance, I got a lot of running backs, not a lot of wideouts. Somebody who has a lot of wideouts and not a lot of running backs hasn't come and approached me yet. I mean, I guess I could technically go out and approach them, but then again, people gonna just want to make a real trade, or kind of trade junk. See, like, you and Chris, you traded Delaney Walker and Jordan Matthews earlier, right?
Right.
Okay, and Jordan Matthews, this game was one of his highest scoring players.
Yep.
Delaney Walker has been, pretty decent for you since you've gotten him.
Pretty solid, I would say. I don't know if Chris would agree because I don't know if I just don't know if he would feel the same way this week. I'm sure he would, but I think overall that trade, it didn't kill anybody and it hasn't like super helped anybody. But I think it kind of worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. But even still, like, there aren't too many trades, and we need to just wheel and deal. Some people need to improve their teams. Other teams need to stay up at the top. That's all I have to say about that.
I agree. I also would go on record and say I would love to see more people get involved in trades. I think generally people tend to value the players that they have on their team way too much and are not willing to take any risks and make some trades. But I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think making trades is super fun because I like shiny new toys and I get very bored of having the same fucking people in my lineup every week, especially if they're not just going off. Like, I'm like, dude, you know what? I'm done with you. Let me try something else. And it at least gives me that pleasure, even if, my team's not doing the best.
True.
So we'll go on record and say, come on, you fuckers. Let's get some shit moving and shaking.
Yeah. Well, I think we should. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's worth fucking around and trying things just to try to improve your situation. But
Agreed.
Everybody feels different.
Yep.
All right. So who have we not talked about so far? We've talked about Jimmy and Derek. We've talked about Chris and John. Now that is finalized.
Yep.
Did we talk about Phil? We talked about
Phil and Nick. Yeah, we can. Let's go into mine and Misha's, which was pretty close for the most part. And then I just kind of pulled away, I think, towards the end of the day, and just didn't really let Misha kind of catch back up.
I guess not. I mean, he's still got Stephon Diggs going, but I mean, he's 36.5 behind you.
Yeah, I have Bears defense going right now as well.
Oh, well, unless Minnesota actually starts to do something, I mean, then it could get
Which could get interesting if all of a sudden Stephon Diggs starts scoring multiple touchdowns. That will take points away from me.
Well, let's just say if he scores one touchdown, what's that going to do to your defense? Is that going to bring it down to, like, say 8 or 9?
Yeah, it definitely could.
Okay, so you're still up in the 130s, and Misha is just going to be kind of at like 107 or something like that. So Misha, he needs a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, needs a couple touchdowns, and also needs my defense to not do anything else. Like no more sacks, obviously no interceptions and touchdowns. So I would just I would say if there was like Yahoo Fantasy Football does percentages based on like you are X percent supposed to win. I think I'd be at like 95% to win right now.
You know why I don't trust that stuff? Because San Diego, here's my more Chargers talk. Yeah, I know how sick you guys. But San Diego statistically did the impossible. Like the first 6 games or whatever that they played in the year, they were every single game had or all the games they lost, they had a 90 some odd % chance to win it, and they went on to lose it.
Yeah, but that's the Chargers.
Yeah, but how do they fucking break the odds? How do they fucking break these machines? It doesn't make sense. They're cursed. The curse is real.
Yeah, man. Anything can happen. I mean,
anything can happen.
No one can predict everything, but
I guess not. But yeah, I don't think Misha is going to be coming away with this one.
I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, overall, my team was definitely pretty solid this week. I mean, a lot of people in the 20s and high teens as well, which was nice to see. I mean, it's been a rough go for a lot of my matchups, so I was just happy to see a nice, strong performance with my new shiny toy, Jonathan Stewart. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Derek, for that one. We'll see if he can sustain that. I mean, I wasn't expecting over 20, but I will fucking take that. And then picked up Crowder off waivers. That one definitely worked out as well.
That paid off. Yeah, no, I mean, you had your very top 4 players had exactly 22 points. I mean, if you have 4 players with 22, that's going to help your team a lot. That's
almost 90 points just right there. And then, Misha, I mean, most team just didn't really come out. Obviously, Gronk was Gronk.
If he had started Mariota, he might have been a lot closer.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, Cam Newton just not putting up big Cammy points for the most part this season. And yeah, a couple dud performances. Jimmy Graham had an off week. Yeah, nobody just really went off. Some decent performances, but not enough to probably win most weeks.
No, but man.
So that I'll take the win. Oh well, God, I'm fucking totally jinxing myself right now, but I'll take where I'm at right now with that matchup. So we'll see how it plays out. And you got to play Joey this week, and this was an interesting. I would say this is one of the more interesting matchups of the week. A lot of weird stuff happened.
Yeah, a lot of weird things ended up happening. So Joey ended up having a lot of people basically go down or that were designated out. Okay, so Randall Cobb was one of those people. Now, he got Randall Cobb out of his lineup. I don't know who he ended up putting in. It might have been Moncrief or maybe it was Montgomery that he put in, but he must have put in somebody. Because
Yep.
and I don't think that hurt him. I think he put in like Moncrief.
Yeah, if you put in Moncrief,
that ended
that
up giving him
definitely helped him. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But
That got him like 12 points. But yeah, Ty Montgomery
that was
ended
a
up
tough
not
one.
starting, and
Yeah,
he
and
had
that was
nobody else.
that was a freak thing too. I was going back afterwards and reading like the news updates on that, and they had mentioned like he had some illness, but like all reports were saying, "Yep, but he's still gonna go. He's still gonna go." And then right before the game started, they ruled him out. And I don't know if Joey either like didn't have anybody else. No, he could have put in Jeremy Macklin, but I guess
I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
Was that an afternoon game?
I can't remember if it was or wasn't. So yeah, it might have been too late.
Yeah, I think pretty much by the time it was a scratch, all the other games had started.
Yeah, so he had no way. Like,
yeah.
I mean, unless he scrambled and dropped someone on his team, and picked somebody up as a flyer. But I don't mean, looking at his bench, I think if he dropped any of those people, somebody would have for sure tried to put a waiver claim on it. So it's kind of a risky call as well.
Right, and so he also had Spencer Ware go out.
Yeah, with the concussion, which we'll see how that plays out for the next week. Brandon Marshall just had a pretty weak game, and
yeah, not the greatest game.
Yeah, Travis Kelce had a sweet game, but nobody else really did too much.
I pretty much, this was kind of like a quiet game, I would say, for the most part, up until I would say the afternoon and evening games. Because it was really, really close.
Yeah,
and I was having to sort of inch my way, like all the way up to Joey. And, finally it was Zeke that fucking edged it out for me. That man, dude, that first round draft pick that I was iffy on, dude, he has been spectacular this year, dude. Like Wild Thing, fucking, you make my heart sing, man. Dude, yeah, he's been great. But a lot of that
close. Changed. Yeah, Zeke, and then Matty Ice.
Matt Ryan,
up a monster game.
Big game.
Yeah, that was an afternoon game because and I was like, well, if looking at your matchup, if Matt Ryan puts up big numbers, that would really help you kind of stay ahead in this one. And
yeah, because T.Y. Hilton ended up being injured, and he went like in and out for the most part, almost the entire game. He had just a big goose egg. I guess maybe he got like a catch or two near the very end and came back in. But I know he was injured and out of it for the most part.
Yeah.
And Michael Crabtree was not having the greatest day because Amari Cooper was going fucking ape shit.
Still though, getting over 100 yards and 8 receptions. I mean,
that's because they ended up going into That's because they went into overtime.
That always helps to get some extra plays.
It did help, and so yeah, I feel like there were some players that just did it exactly enough. Like Julian Edelman didn't get all that much, but he got me his first touchdown, so that was pretty. That was pretty good. Lamar didn't do very much, but he got me a touchdown. LeGarrette Blount, same thing. He didn't do very much, but he got me a touchdown.
Dude, LeGarrette Blount has been surprisingly good this year, I have to say.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look at how. Let's see, 1, 2. Like, I don't know if he has any receiving touchdowns. No, he doesn't. So that makes it easy. So he has 4. Sorry. So he has 4. He has 9. Yeah, 9 touchdowns.
Fucking touchdowns, and 3 games with over 100 rushing yards too. Like, man, he was not that consistent. I had him last year, and he had some big games, but he was like very up and down. Much more consistent this year, so that's probably been a nice surprise. I doubt that you expected Blount to be producing like this for you.
No, I did expect it. I drafted him.
Oh, right, yeah.
No, I
know you drafted him, but man,
and I drafted
really
him. I mean, I drafted
him 9 fucking touchdowns through 8 games.
No, what I thought, and I think a lot of people thought the same thing, is I thought that when Brady was going to be gone, that they weren't sure how Garoppolo was going to play. So the idea is that they were going to be very conservative and just run it with their big back and do and maybe that would set up play action and you give the new QB some easy tosses. Once Brady came back, I thought that like either Deion Lewis would have been coming back and was healthy at that point, or what's his name, James White. would have been, producing, and which he has to a certain extent. But I think what LeGarrette Blount was able to do, and that beginning part when Brady was out was apparent, maybe enough for Belichick to be like, I would say, he's consistent enough with goal line carries. He doesn't fumble the ball, which, Belichick hates. And I guess maybe he shows up to team meetings, so he doesn't get cut from the team like some people do at certain points.
No, he's been very
awesome.
consistent. So yeah, that's been a big staple of your lineup right there. And yeah, with you had the win going into tonight, so Zach Miller is just sort of putting the icing on the cake for you there.
Yeah, he could put as much icing as he wants to, I would say. If you guys want to just keep pounding Minnesota to the ground, that would be awesome. I don't know why. I don't have anything against Minnesota, but I guess they've had a monster defense. And who's been sitting on that defense? Has it been Nick?
Yep, Nick's been playing that defense. So, up until
Good.
The last week or two, they've been amazing.
Yeah, 22, 13, 26, 8, 16, 9, and then today, 2. So this is beautiful. I love it. I love it when Nick is not happy, because then Nick just gets ridiculous and fun, like we all know him to be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay, so that's all of them, right?
That's all of them. So, I think for the most part, this week is pretty well wrapped up. I think it's definitely going to be coming down to the last several weeks for a lot of people. If you look at the standings here.
Okay, so let's figure out the standings really quick. Okay, so
obviously you and Glasgow are going to be way at the top at 7-1.
Well, so Glasgow did win, so he will be. He might still be ahead of me, but yeah. So Glasgow or me will be. You'll
have more points at this. So you're gonna, unless Alshon gets a bunch more points, I think you're gonna be number 1, but it's gonna be close.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But okay, so John and me are at the top, and then did Derek win? He lost.
Derek lost, so he'll be at 4-4.
Joey lost, so he'll be at
4-4. And then Jimmy, Team No Good, won, so he'll be at 4-4.
Okay.
And then I will be at 3-5. Misha will be at 3-5, and Phil will be at 3-5, and then Chris will be at 2-6. All the basically third through last place is only going to be separated by two games.
2 games.
2
games.
It's going to be a fucking race. It's going to be a mad dash to the end here.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say all these last games are like really, really important for Chris. Well, I would say for definite, absolutely for Chris. I would say these next 1 or 2 weeks are just, he has to get at least 1 or 2 wins. You have to get closer. Yeah, he can have a couple people maybe lose, Phil could end up losing, you could end up losing, Misha could end up losing, and if he wins just 1 week, then you guys are all, evened out. So, and that's already kind of going for the 5th and 6th spot? Because let's see, how many people do we have for 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Let's see. So there's
going to be 4 people with 4-4, or something like that, and then 3 people at 3-5, and then Chris. So it's all jammed up.
Wow, that is really, really jammed up. So it's really, really close. These, we're getting down. We're getting down to it. There's only 5 more games left. Is that it?
Yeah, I almost want to say I think you and Glasgow have probably, at least gotten yourself some sort of playoff spot. I think it would take something drastic for you guys to have won 7 games and not make the playoffs. I don't even know if that's possible at this point, honestly. So you and Glasgow are looking real good. Everybody else, honestly, nobody else is guaranteed anything at this point.
Well, I think it's going to be a pretty tight matchup. I'm
absolutely.
not even sure. Uh-oh, something happened. John just got a little bit more. I don't know if it was Alshon or Kyle Rudolph. Who's got the ball right now?
Minnesota does.
Minnesota
Yeah,
does.
Rudolph is getting some yards here. So, yeah, it looks like John. Yeah, John may be the actual person in first place next week based on points. But I mean, my God, we're literally talking pennies at this point. It's going to change so much.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it all ends up shaking out. But I think the matchups down the line are really gonna be key, especially for those, um, for those lower seeded teams. The 4s and 4s, 3 and 5s, and
Oh yeah,
Chris 2 and 6.
yeah, those are going to be very, very interesting matchups. And I mean, speaking of matchups, we can. Why don't we just do a very quick pickems for next week, just in case that we don't get to do like a full preview podcast. We can just go real quick and just kind of breeze through the matchups and do our pickems. So at least we have that.
All right, let's take a look. We were talking about poor Chris. Let's see who he's playing next.
So
All
he
right,
will be playing Derek, who had a pretty bad week this week. But dude, if you pull
Yep,
up the matchup,
yep.
Chris is gonna have to do some fucking magic with his lineup. I mean,
Yep, he's got 5 people starting on bye. I actually know this pain because I think when we get to my matchup, I am in a very similar situation that I have like 6 or 7 people on
yeah,
bye.
yeah. These like this week, next week. I think the next few weeks are big bye weeks for a lot of teams. So it's gonna
Yep.
be the waiver wires, the free agents. It's gonna be a madhouse.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot on out there. So everybody, get your fucking mittens on out. Get ready to go picking.
Exactly.
Picking mittens.
So
Um,
on this matchup alone, I mean, I think I've got to pick Derek just because he's got the vast majority of his team that's actually playing, and he'll have Antonio Brown that he can throw back into his lineup, and
yep.
then he's basically got a complete team. That's all the guys that he probably wants in his lineup, and some pretty tasty matchups too. Aaron Rodgers against Indy at Lambeau. That's a pretty tasty matchup right there.
Oh my God, dude, have you looked at your phone?
I have our group chat looks to be fucking going off. Joey and Chris seem to be just getting into it right now. This is nice.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh man, looks like my name was brought up. What the fuck is this? All this shit. You can tell Brian on the podcast that he is a lucky bastard, and I'll get my revenge in the playoffs. Hopefully, if you get to the playoffs, you fuck. I mean, God, Jesus. This is so funny, dude. Okay, all right. The Salt Storm on the text message stream is entertaining, but we don't need to go into that. All right,
Funny.
that is pretty funny. Okay, let's go through the pick'ems really quick. Right now, at this point in time, unless Chris does some waiver wire magic or something like that, or trade, I don't know. I'm in the same position. I even though I pick for myself all the time, it's gonna be very hard for me to try to pick for myself this week. But yeah, because Le'Veon Bell is out. He can put all right. So, I mean, what can Chris even do? He can put Le'Veon Bell back in. He can put Le'Veon Bell back in. So that's one running back off the checklist. So Tevin Coleman, I don't know if he is out for the year. I don't think he's out for the year. He was just ruled out for Sunday, the game with the hamstring or something, right?
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll play, but yeah, that's not a guarantee either.
Deion Lewis
is still
is
out.
not.
Gary
Well, and he's gonna
Coleman.
be on he's gonna be on bye anyway, so
Yep,
you
that's not
can't
gonna
play
do
him.
anything.
All right, so right now Chris is short one running back. He can throw in Tyrell Williams, and that will fill out a wideout slot. But the problem is he's fine on wideouts. He's just really short on running backs.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's
he's
really
gonna have to pick some people up. I mean, he needs a new kicker. He needs a new defense. Like no matter what, it's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious to see what he's going to do, and how he's going to work it all out, because there's going to have to be some pickup and drops, or maybe he'll even just go very gutsy, think long term, and maybe he won't drop anybody, and he'll just have some empty slots in his lineup. He's got a lot of things to think about for this week, so I'm curious to see how that's going to go.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, you can't fall too far behind. We only have 5 games left, and you're already 2 games behind.
It's like in a baseball playoff game or a World Series game where you got to bring in your closer, Aroldis Chapman, to come in 3 innings way earlier than he ever would, because you've got everything to win and everything to lose, and you can't just fucking sit around anymore. So, yeah, man, this is going to be tough.
I'm nodding my head like I know something about baseball.
Somebody will know what I'm talking about.
I know somebody. Dude, we got a lot the baseball fans in this
the World Series is happening right now.
I know. And I would say, like, it is kind of funny, historic, just the 2 teams. Did you see that meme that was going around on the internet, like the starting pitchers was like the guy from fucking Rookie of the Year.
Oh, I did see that.
The other was Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, it was because it was the Indians versus the Cubs in those movies. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay.
All right, so we've talked a shitload just about this one matchup, and this was supposed to be quick pickems. So I picked Derek. Who are you gonna take a safe bet? Yeah, I mean, it's probably a smart play.
All right, let's talk about John and Phil.
John and Phil, yeah. Phil's team put up a big
Phil is in
week.
Jesus, Phil is in the same position too. Phil's got
but you look across the way, and John's got no Alshon Jeffrey, no Tom Brady, no Larry Fitz.
Yeah, but he's got Derek Carr and Dak Prescott, dude. He's got 3 fucking quarterbacks.
Derek Carr is going up against Denver, though. That's no cakewalk.
So maybe that's why he picked up Dak Prescott. So he's going up against Cleveland.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Johnny.
Ooh, John.
Sneaky.
So fucking sneaky.
Thinking 2
sneaky
weeks ahead,
Glasgow.
like some sort of fucking genius.
Oh my God. A fan of. I wonder. It's such a shock that he's 6-1, 7-1, 7-1 now.
I mean, we could go back to the standings and try to dissect why John is about to be 7-1 right now. But
well, this is a hard one.
Look at points against, but we won't get into that.
All right, this is a hard one to call because look at Phil's lineup. Both of his quarterbacks are on bye. That's a bad place to be in, and both of those quarterbacks you do not want to be dropping.
Yeah, I mean, somebody will probably pick up one of those if he drops them. He does. Nope. He has 2 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends on his team, and all of them are going to be on byes next week. Oh my fuck! Yeah. So
dude, the waiver wires are going to be so good these next couple of weeks.
I don't even think I'm going to try and pick anybody up off waivers this week. I'm just going to wait and let everybody else do their shit, and I'm going to watch my waiver priority order like skyrocket to like the top 1 or 2. And then that could help me out later on in the season as I just announce my strategies to everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's going to have to do some waiver wire finagling. At least John's got his QB covered. He will have to do... No, he won't need to do any wideout finagling. Oh, yes, he will. He will need 1 wideout. Yeah, he'll have to... I don't know what he'll do.
I don't know.
Well, I just saw also today that Niall Davis got dropped by Green Bay, so I don't think he's going to have him on his roster for much longer.
Well, at least that will give him a free roster slot to throw in one of those bye players. I mean, that's the problem. Like the problem isn't that you have people on bye. The problem is we only have 5 bench spots. And, some teams like myself and others that we've talked about just now have more than 5 people on bye. So somebody has to be dropped, or multiple people possibly have to be dropped depending on which positions are out on, are on bye for you.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
I don't know what to do in this situation.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
I would say I'm going to give the edge just to John because it looks like he has, for the most part, a lot of the positions filled out except for save 1. Phil, though, is completely out of QB and completely out of tight end.
Yep. So he's going to have to do some waiver magic, and I agree with you. Just based on that, I think I have to give it to John there. He'll have an easier time. He's already prepared a little bit for this week,
Yep.
and he won't need to be doing as much crazy fill-in. So I have to give it to John there as well.
All right, I'm going to do the same.
All right. Let's go to Jimmy and Misha are playing. This is going to be the middle of the pack matchup here. Some big implications and not too much bye week going on. Each of them have two
just
bye
two
week
players. They have some important people on bye.
Gronk and Hill. I mean, those are two key factors for Misha's team right there.
Oh, look at the other side.
Yeah,
AJ.
AJ and Eifert, those are some big ones there too. And Jimmy doesn't have any tight ends on his bench. Oh my God, I can't wait to watch the waivers this week.
Well, Jimmy does have Jimmy Graham, so I mean he can just throw him in.
Wait, no, Jimmy doesn't.
Oh, sorry, not Jimmy. Fucking, what am I saying? I'm looking at Misha's team.
Misha
and I'm thinking about Jimmy.
Misha has Jimmy Graham, so he'll have to fill in his flex spot most likely.
Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Which he can do. Yeah, he's got people on his bench who can fill that in. Jimmy's gonna have some work to do.
Yeah, Jimmy is gonna have some work, dude. He
could fill in his wideout spot if he wants to, but he will have to do some waiver or free agent pickups on the tight end though, so that's gonna be interesting. And Alex Smith had a concussion, so we'll see how that plays out too. I think I'm going to have to give it to Misha on this one. I think he just has more solid pieces that are going to be in play, and he will have Cam Newton as his quarterback.
Yeah, they're going up against the Rams. Might be a tough one.
Rams have been pretty middle of the pack against the
Yeah,
quarterback.
he might start Marcus Mariota. Mariota's been solid the last 4 weeks.
Yeah,
so,
against the Chargers, I mean, could be decent. Not Chargers aren't a snooze, but they're not a fucking amazing on defense either.
No, unfortunately not. This one, I don't know. I would say it's pretty damn close, but I am gonna go. I'm gonna go with Misha.
Okay. I think we're both taking a lot of the same picks here.
Yeah, but that might mean that Jimmy's gonna end up winning. Are we sweeping it for Misha?
Yeah, we swept it for Misha.
Okay, well then that means Jimmy's gonna win.
Hey Jimmy, congratulations on your
win next week. Congratulations, Jimmy, on your win next week. Because anytime I pick against you, you're wrong every time I pick for you. Anyway.
All right.
Okay.
We got 2 more. Let's see if we can squeeze this podcast in under an hour real quick. So let's move. I doubt we'll be able to, but let's move over. You are playing Nick this week, which is going to be interesting. But boy, oh boy, you're going to have your hands full, I think, with some waiver picks as well. Because, man, your bench is pretty depleted as well with bye weeks, and you've got 4 people in your starting roster who are going to be on bye as well. So you are about to get creative, my friend.
Oh, very creative. But of course, the fact is that my bench is going to look just complete buys. So the truth is I have 2 players that I'm going to have to get rid of. Who are those 2 players going to be? I'm pretty sure I know who they are. And I would say it's not.
Yeah, I would say I know who they are as well.
But okay, all right. Let's see. Who do you think they'd be?
Well, I guess actually it brings up a good question. I was going to say Terrence West and Dennis Pitta, but you do actually need a tight end. Will it be Pitta? I don't know, actually.
Well, I need a tight end, and I'll probably need a running back too.
That's true.
So I'm gonna need to use those 2 guys this week.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I guess Terrence West is a starting running back, so that will have to be used.
I mean, Terrence West, other than last week before he was on bye, because he was on bye this last week. But before his last week against the Jets, where he only had 1 point, he was 25, 10, and 18. Like that's not a bad stretch.
Very true.
So I mean, I think Baltimore is just not looking all that great. So I'm hoping, what I'm hoping is going to happen? I'm hoping Baltimore is going to be able to do what they need to do, and they're going to kick ass. And what's going to happen is Justin Tucker's not going to get any points, And that means that the Baltimore Ravens are going to kick the shit out of Nick. That's what I'm predicting. That's what I'm going for. I have found a way to pick myself in the worst possible situation, even again with 7 people on bye. I'm picking myself. I know the Ravens are going to come through for me. That's my prediction.
I like the tenacity. I like how specific you are about all of that. That is incredibly specific, and it really is like throwing a dagger at Nick over there. So I love all of that.
Yes.
And I also love that we will have the contrarian picks here for Pickems, because I am going to pick Nick.
Yeah, I mean, how can you pick a team against a team that's going up against somebody with 7 people on bye?
Maybe come Saturday, I'll look at what finagling you've done on waivers, and I'll think, shit, his team actually looks pretty good. But I think the dogfight for free agents and waivers is going to be pretty depleted, and Nick's got a full roster ahead of him. We'll see if LaShawn McCoy comes back, but he's got plenty of pieces to make a full roster without having to do anything too crazy. So
true.
I'll pick Nick.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, all right. We've got one more matchup. It's myself and Joey, which is always an interesting matchup when you're playing Joey. You know that there's going to be a lot of texting going on throughout the entire week.
Yes, there will be a lot of texting. Now, I'm not necessarily sure what's going to happen in this matchup. So David Johnson is out for Joey, and that's his biggest player. That's his biggest player. So you get lucky in that. Now, DeAndre Hopkins should be your best player, but unfortunately he has not
I'm not feeling too terrible about him being on a bye. I almost just get Houston off the fucking field, figure out how you can get better and come back in 2 weeks and just do that. So just get the fuck out of here for a while. So I'm not too concerned about that. I don't exactly know quite yet what I'm going to do about filling in that wide receiver slot. So we will see how that works.
But you've got choices.
Yeah, I've got choices. I know as long as Carlos Hyde is playing, I know I'll be filling him in that running back wide receiver slot. So all I really need to do is fill in that last wide receiver slot to be somewhat satisfied. So I'm not quite sure I'm going to do, but I'll have some options.
Now, I am not sure what Joey is going to do about his running back situation.
I mean, I already talked to him about that today, and his first response to that was, well, Matt Jones is going to be back. So I don't know if that was just a quick fire response or if he's dead set on playing Matt Jones.
Well, then, okay, let's say Spencer Ware doesn't clear.
That's a good question, too. If he's in concussion protocol, there's no guarantee that he plays next week.
And I don't know about Ty Montgomery. I don't know if this guy's going to be playing or not. I don't know what the deal with him is.
Question as well. I mean, I think he's supposed to, so he could fill that in. But again, yeah, I mean, Joey could easily fill in his full roster without having to make any moves. So yeah.
All right. So you are basically just short a couple wideouts.
I'm short of one wideout, and I have the pieces I need. I don't know if I actually want to use them or not.
What's wrong with Carlos Hyde?
No, I will definitely put Carlos Hyde in where Crowder is right now, but filling in my DeAndre Hopkins, I don't know if I really want to play Sterling Shepard right now, or if I want to take my chances on the waivers. So I'll just kind of have to see. Hey, maybe somebody will have to drop somebody good, and I can vulture somebody too. I mean, we'll see.
That's true. Because we shall see. All right. So because when do all right, and I will pick you too. I mean.
All right. Fuck. This always happens.
Well, we'll see how this goes. But right now, Joey's got a couple questions. I think down the line, like if we were doing this podcast on Thursday or Friday or something like that, maybe this would be a little bit different. Maybe we'd be having different picks, because people will have done some action by then. So we'll see. I guess we'll just see what happens.
We will absolutely. I think there's no choice but to see what happens.
Yep, that's all. That's the only thing we can do.
Diggs? Diggs just got a touchdown. Uh-oh.
No kidding, really.
There's 5.5 minutes left.
So let's see where we're
Misha's
at.
Still down by 21. So, I mean, he still needs He needs some big play going on here, but I mean, he's not out of it yet. I'll say that for sure.
Just not completely out of it, but I mean,
If
even
he was ever to have a chance, that's what he needed, at least for right now.
yeah, Stefan Diggs is sitting on 17, so he's 113. That brought you down to 134.
Yeah, that touchdown only brought me down like 2 or 3 points.
Right. So if they get another touchdown, I think that's going to bring you all the way down to like 6.
Yeah.
So if you lose 6, then you're in the high
touchdowns.
then you're in the high 20s, and with another touchdown, he's going to be yeah. So I don't know. I think he needs at least 2 You're right, like 3 touchdowns at least, or like another. What was that one game he had? That one like Thursday night game or whatever, the 182 yards and touchdown.
So I mean, hey, anything's possible here. They're playing from behind, so they're gonna have to sling it around. So we'll see.
Oh, I guess Misha has never rooted for fucking what's his name, Bradford. Right.
Shit.
Well, okay. I don't even know if I want to open up my text messages to look at this. Oh God, this is just dude. Salt. I said it once, Salt Storm, and I'm saying it again, Salt Storm. Like, you guys are just so salty. That's what you are.
Yeah. Obviously, Chris is pretty ticked about being so far in the doghouse. Because I know he fucking tries really hard, and Joey's over here making some like light backhanded comments, and I like how all of this, it's just Joey saying could be worse to Chris has just exploded this whole fucking diatribe of them going back and forth.
Oh, man.
Salty. Very salty. But hey, that's what fantasy does, Yeah.
It brings the worst in you.
Almost every week, or maybe not every week, but a lot of times there's that one person that's just fucking had it. Like, I was that person at least one week this year complaining a lot. I know Nick was there when he was saying stuff like, fucking this league, I just can't figure it out. I always do good in my other leagues, but I can't figure it out in our league. Chris is exploding this week, so this is what fucking fantasy does. Brings out the worst in everybody.
Yeah, dude, it's maddening. Fantasy is just that way, and that's why we all come back to it, because we love the fucking abuse.
It's that cruel mistress, that siren song that you just can't escape from, even though you have the chance of just being fucking strangled and killed.
Yeah, dude. This fucking bitch, this fickle fucking bitch. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all for today. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to cover.
Man, we covered a
lot.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot. We hope you guys have a good fucking Halloween, and I'm guessing by the time you guys hear this will be, I don't know, either the 1st or the 2nd. So hopefully we'll have no technical glitches, get it up in time, and we will see you guys soon, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Only a couple more days till the next week starts, and it's going to be a fucking race till the end, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. All right, boys.
All right.
We'll catch you later.
Later.